am not asking you to renounce whatever you have. There is no need to give up your bank balance. There is no need to give up your life. There is no need to give up your relationships. There is no need to give up your house. There is no need to give up your car. Have everything. Just add only one more thing, conscious experience. Just add only one more thing of thoughtless awareness. Thoughtless awareness means at least few minutes sit without thoughts with yourself. This technology is all about how to create the thoughtless awareness in you. And I tell you, just cooperate with me till tomorrow evening. I guarantee at least one experience of conscious awareness. If you don't get money back return, money back guarantee. And I tell you, the technology is such, it's foolproof. Anybody will have at least one glimpse, one moment of thoughtless awareness. At least at one point in one meditation, oh God, I stopped thinking, what happened to me? That's what I call thoughtless awareness. You will be sitting, you will not be sleeping. Sleeping is not thoughtless awareness, please be very clear. You will be aware. You will be aware. Some people have seen this meditation, they will start, when they start meditation, it will be like this. Then slowly. One person in LBP. In those days, I myself will do ASP. Now, what you do as LBP? It's called ASP. Those days, I used to do personally. In LBP, that's Anahata Chakra meditation, first meditation. One guy was sitting like this. And I asked him, hey, what happened? What are you doing? No, I'm meditating on Isanagata. He completely slept. He put his head down. So please don't meditate on the other person's Anahata. Anyhow, sleeping is not thoughtless awareness. You will be aware, but there will be no thoughts. The traffic will not be there. And the technology is such, at least one glimpse you will have. At least one meditation. Of course, if you are intense, in every meditation you will have that. But the technology is such, at least one you will have. And I tell you, this thoughtless awareness is something like a strong experience. Vivekananda says, even once if you achieve samadhi in your life, at the time of leaving the body, automatically this will come up. This will come up. The whole world. So what else can come up? Only this samadhi state will come up. All the other three states, waking, dream and deep sleep, all the three states will disappear. Only the samadhi state will come up. So this whole program straight away aims to give you one glimpse of samadhi, taking you beyond the samskaras, taking you beyond the engraved memories. At least one glimpse of thoughtless awareness. That is what I am aiming. Let me give you this one more understanding. It is very difficult to renounce as on now, because you are seeing the whole thing as color. People are afraid. He may tell me to renounce, but he may take it away, whatever I am renouncing. And it is very difficult to trust. I know. People are always afraid. He may take away my life, he may take away my relationships, he may take away my money, he may take away my properties. People are afraid to surrender. People are afraid to trust, because the fear is always there. This may be taken away, that may be taken away. And one more fear, I myself may get inspired and go behind him, who knows. Always these fears are there, because as on now, all these things looks valuable. You see all these things in 4 color, in 4D, this looks valuable. But when you leave the body, all these things will lose their value. Then you don't have to renounce, it will be taken away from you. You can't sign your checks anymore. You can't talk to your wife anymore. Even if you try to talk, she will run away. You can't drive in your car anymore. Only ambulance will be useful. Nothing will be useful. Now just prepare yourself to face that moment. That's enough. You don't have to announce when you are having, live when you are having, nothing wrong. Add conscious experience, samadhi, into your being, so that when you leave, you will have that light to guide you. You will not be lost in the samskaras. You will not be lost in that forest of samskaras. If you don't have the conscious glimpse or a samadhi experience, automatically, naturally, you will be pushed and pulled by your thoughts. Because there is no anchor. Samadhi is like anchor in the ocean of samsara. So here, all I am trying to do is to give you an anchor to travel in the ocean of samsara, the samsara sagara. It will be like a lighthouse. Here I am trying to install a lighthouse in you. When you leave the body, you will be able to travel peacefully and blissfully. You will know the direction to travel. You will not be caught in the hindrance. Always the next question comes. Oh, if it is about death, let us learn the end later on, Swamiji. What is the use for now? What is the need for now? Always these young people, they think meditation is for the old age, not now. All the old people, always they think, I should have done all these things in the young age itself. It is too late. Always we escape. Be very clear. First thing, you don't know when death will come. Next thing, the moment you start learning the attitude of postponing, you will never learn even when you become old. So the postponing will not work. Any other question? Yes, your question.
My question is, I'm not understanding about this past life mythology. When we know biologically when the birth occurs and how the birth occurs, where this past life is coming from, and how I will understand that, so that when I meet somebody and tells me about this past life, something has happened, that puts me in puzzle situation. What is this past life?
Now in the modern day, enough of research in psychic field is done. Psychic researchers, they are all proving, whether we believe it or not, accept it or not, past life exists. There is enough proof. So much of psychic researches are done in the modern day. There is enough of proof for this past life, especially these indigo kids. The research on the indigo kids proves the existence of past life. And there are a few more things which you should understand. We can quote all these researchers, that is the only thing can be done. Nothing else can be done. Especially the people who remember their past life, once they remember, after they remember, the scientists, research people, they go to the villages, places and verify whether somebody existed in that name. There are so much research work done on that, and they prove very clearly past life happens. And one more thing, how do you know when life happens biologically? Still people are not very clear. Still scientists are not clear when life happens to the body biologically. How DNAs or cells are functioning. They are not clear. You made a statement now. Now when we know very clearly how the life is happening happening biologically, why should we believe past life? You think that we know clearly biologically? No. There are a lot more superstitious things in science than in spirituality. Science carry more superstitious things than spirituality. There are so many things they are not able to answer. They are not able to answer. Only mystics are able to answer. I tell you, science is yet to catch up with mysticism. Science is yet to grow to the level of spirituality. Just because Some scientists are not agreeing. We can't say spiritual truths are lies. One more thing. There is no need to quote scientists to prove spirituality. I tell you, it is time for them to quote us, not for us to quote them. There is no need for us to quote them. It is time for them to quote us. One more thing. The solution which we are offering, the concept about life or the concept about death, the whole thing creates much better, peaceful, blissful society, humanity, world. But the solution which they are offering creates only more and more turmoil, problems, wars and disturbances to the society. So it is time for them to quote us. The time for us to quoting them is over. Now it is time for them to quote us. Because Upanishad says there's past life exists. Not because some scientists say. Because Upanishad says past life exists. Yes. Loud.
I have two questions. The first one is about the statement that accidents are invited by you. Now, if we are into an accident, and we are into a car accident, five people are in a car accident. So, is it that just one
No.
or five of them?
All five. Everybody is prone. See, when you work on the fourth layer, you will understand. All your memories are not just dead imprints. They are not dead files like a computer memories. They are living samskaras which will again and again make you travel in that same path. If there is a samskara about drinking coffee 7 o'clock morning, the moment it becomes 7, you don't have to see the watch. Inside the coffee, bell will ring. It will just pull you again to travel in that same path. It's a living memory, living energy. Samskara is a living energy in you. These samskaras, not only they are living energy, they reproduce. If you have the blissful memories, they continuously reproduce more and more blissful samskaras in you. They attract blissful incidents. Please understand, I request all of you, do not write when I speak. If you write when I speak, you will miss the concept, you will miss the understanding. And moreover, I express more through body language than through verbal language. So try to receive the whole thing. If you start writing, you will miss what I am speaking. And after the discourse, always you will have after every discourse half an hour gap. That time you can take notes. You may say, no, I forget. If you will forget within half an hour means the program is not worth attending. Don't bother. It's not worth remembering. You will really be able to remember at least the main concepts. You can take notes in the end of the, after every half an hour. If you take notes, you miss the, I have always seen people, they take notes but miss the understanding. If you understand intensely, it will go and enter into your being, in your consciousness. You don't have to remember it from the book. Please understand. When you move in your life, when you travel in your life, you accumulate so much of samskaras, engrams. They are not just a dead imprints. They are living energy. They make you travel in that same path again. That's the first thing. Next thing, very important thing. They reproduce the same kind of engrams. They attract same kind of people. They attract same kind of experiences in your life. If you carry blissful memories, they just reproduce and attract more blissful incidents, blissful personalities, blissful things in your life. If you carry the painful memories, they reproduce and create more painful incidents. They attract more painful incidents, they attract more people who create pain for you, and they attract more painful memories for you. If you have seen that What the Bleep Do We Know the movie, you will understand this. Very clearly they are explaining. I was just amazed. What the Bleep Do We Know? If I find time, try to see that movie. Don't think I have contract with them. I am not promoting them. And really they have done a good job by showing the few beautiful yoga concepts. This is a concept from Yoga Sutra, the Samskara concept. They are beautifully explained in that movie. Now, the painful memories which you carry in the fourth layer, it reproduces and attracts painful incidents in your life. That's what happens.
Next question, like a friend of mine asked the people around her to, do puja for the gods. So her grandma was very religious, but she wasn't spiritual. I mean, she didn't do any meditation or anything. But still, at the time of
Now you see, whatever you are thinking whole life, you will see that at the time of death. Because you are intensely boiling. You are intensely boiling. It's like a diamond jewelry. Diamond is embedded in the gold. That jewelry, if you put that jewelry into the fire, if you burn that, if you heat it, naturally the diamond will start floating. It will start moving away. It will start coming out. Same way, whatever memories you embedded in your inner space, at the time of death, they will start coming out. She must have prayed to that God intensely. So she is seeing that form. The same consciousness she sees in that form.
But then you said worship is just the first level.
Of course, she saw that gods. She will be there in that mood only for some time. She will not be there eternally. If you see that, if you disappear into the formlessness, you will be there forever. Any form has got lifespan. Be very clear. Any form. Any form. One more thing. If you meditate on any form, there is a possibility of you being caught in that form. So use the form as a ladder and go ahead. Move. Do not be caught in the form. I always tell people, actually, the healers, for healers, people are initiated. For them I give the instruction. They can't meditate on my form. They should not meditate on my form. That's a standard clear instruction. They should not meditate on my form. And I always tell people, never meditate on any form. Not only my form, never meditate on any form. If you are meditating on any form, you will be caught in the form. And if some guru asks you to meditate on his form, escape from him. Just escape from him. Never meditate on any form. Go into the formless energy. Go into the formless energy. See, the form is just an initial help. Like a ladder. You need ladder to go up. But you will not be standing, you should not be standing in the ladder. Do not just get stuck with the ladder. Yes.
At the time of death, one experience punya state in thoughtlessness, how he will be guided?
The very thoughtless state, thoughtless awareness is enough. All the other entrants will automatically die down. All the other entrants will automatically disappear. Because the thoughtless awareness is not emptiness as you think. It will be a living vibrancy. Please understand, the word sunya gives you a wrong impression. It's not sun. Experience may be one and the same, but when you say sunya, you feel like a void, emptiness. No, it's not void. It is living energy, intense energy. All your engrams are burnt away. All your samskaras are just burnt away. That will simply guide you to the higher level, higher planes.
Coming on the same lines of level 1 worship, now we go every Thursdays to the temple and every Saturday, and now we've also started meditation. So, do you, what should we do? Should we
See,
stop worshipping?
going to the temple, nothing wrong. I am not saying don't go, but mentally be very clear. Do not think that you are doing completely whatever has to be done. Be very clear. Be open for the higher level things. Some people who go to this temple, actually, the so-called religious people are the most egoistic people. And I have seen, they come and brag. Swamiji, last 30 years I visit temple regularly. What for you came? I have knee pain, please heal it, Swamiji. People who visit the temple regularly do not develop a ego that you are doing ultimate. Be very clear. It's a good thing. It's not end. If you are that much clear, that's enough. I am not asking you to go, stop going to the temple. Go to the temple. Nothing wrong. You are doing the right thing. But mentally be very clear. You need to do something more. You need to go up. You need to meditate. You need to see the God inside, not only the outside.